Hunting comes down to being at the right spot at the right time. This video is going to help you find that spot. I'm going to be breaking down a piece of public land and really just showcasing my process of how I go about scouting a new piece of property. In this video, I'm using OnX Maps to do this demonstration, but they're not actually sponsoring this video. That being said, I really do believe in their app and definitely would recommend you check it out. In the future, I actually want to do a video and just talk about their app and their product and how it's changed how I hunt. The first thing I'm looking for when I'm looking at a new piece of property is the habitat diversity. This piece, it has a lot of habitat diversity actually. It's got these CRP fields with mowed trails, it looks like. It's got all this timber, and it also has different age timber as well. You can see it looks like here it's different age from when they did a clear cut in the past. It's got these ponds here, and also here. It even has this early successional growth clearing as well. In the past, I used to have kind of tunnel vision and I'd only focus on what was on the public land because that's what I could hunt. But I've come to learn to also take a look and see what's on the private land surrounding it, because that all ties into the habitat diversity and how the deer are going to be navigating between public and private land. And then if you're able to figure that out, you're able to capitalize on that movement. So the private land surrounding it, I mean, it has tons of habitat diversity. It's got ag, it's got also looks like some CRP fields, it's got plenty of woods. After looking at the habitat diversity and deciding it's not just a monoculture and that it's actually worth hunting, the next thing I'm looking at are typically overlooked spots. This spot right here, this small clump of trees, really jumped out at me for two reasons. One being it's right by this parking lot, and the second being it's right by this road as well. Hunters are likely going to just overlook this and not even hunt it, not even walk, you scout it even. I could definitely see a nice buck bedding in this small clump of trees and monitoring both the road and the hunter access right here. If we take a look and see the distance from the parking lot to that clump of trees, right about 160 yards. The very edge would probably be about 140. That doesn't seem like it's much distance, but to a bedded deer, if they also have the wind advantage and a visibility advantage, they're going to feel comfortable being there because they're able to monitor the hunter access. How I would set up to hunt this is I would likely do an observation sit and maybe put a stand right here. I know it's right by the road. Maybe even put it in one of these trees right by the parking lot. I wouldn't want other hunters to know that I'm monitoring this bedding area, and I wouldn't want them to see me, so I would probably do this very late in the evening, like the last hour, because then you could see if there's anyone in the parking lot, and if there's not, then I would probably set up and try to monitor this bedding area. So the next spot that jumped out to me is this funnel right here. Now, if you pop it on topo, you can see that it's actually a creek bottom. These creek bottoms act as a natural travel corridor for bucks during the rut, especially also based on the fact that they're going to feel a lot more comfortable cruising along this wood line compared to crossing this wide open field. Obviously, the buck would have to cross this road right here, but this road really doesn't seem like it would get much traffic. I could totally see a buck crossing that in daylight. If I were to find rubs and beat trails crossing the road right there, that'd be a telltale sign that this is obviously a spot that deer are crossing the road at, and it would just be even higher of odds for them crossing during the rut. I would probably set up maybe 100 yards off the road, I would think. I know that sounds crazy. I believe that this would be another overlooked spot because of the fact that there's all these woods, all these fields for people to hunt, and they're likely going to overlook this little corner right here. It also has harder access to get to because the parking is over here and over here. This spot would take some effort to get to. If I was going to set up on this, I would likely do an observation sit and try to slip in and get in somewhere over here and see if I can monitor any deer coming out into this CRP. One thing I've noticed is that deer really like to be kind of in the very corners of fields and in low spots a lot of times. So if I could even get to this tree, I'd have a better visibility of seeing down in this very back corner. The next spot that jumped out to me is this early successional growth pocket right here. They might be bedding in it, they might be primarily feeding in it. I don't know. What I'm leaning towards is the fact that maybe they're bedding in this kind of fingers right here. And obviously there's this ag field, so this is going to be a food source as well, but there's going to likely be travel coming to and from. So I would want to do some boots on the ground scouting and figure out how the deer are using this general area. This transition line between the more mature timber and this younger cutover looks very good to me. This would be a really good spot to even scout it the day you hunt it. I would just walk this transition line, see if I cut any rubs, scrapes, beet trails, whatever it may be, and just set up on the sign that day. The last point I want to talk about would be some bedding areas. And on the western side of this property, if we pop it on topo, you can see all these little points. If a deer bedded on one of these ridge points, they could observe any danger coming from below them along the creek bottom and this road. If they had the wind at their back coming from the east, they could also smell anything coming from behind them. If I was going to set up to hunt this spot, I would probably try to set up within about 150, 200 yards, as close as I could get without me thinking the deer would be able to see me in this bedding area. But I'd want to probably set up maybe on this side hill here. Maybe I could get somewhere in here, but really thinking about how the wind is going to be coming into play and not cutting it too close. Because, I mean, if you set up here and it's an easterly wind, that deer's going to smell you. So you have to be set up on an off wind. Here is the final map with my pins on it.